So nice to see you this evening. A lot is going on as usual. I think the whole Iranian war is one of the final pieces of the deep state that has to be removed. And we're coming. I've just been feeling kind of blissed out all day. Of course, I am back in my home RV, so that's a great relief for us to be home. But I just feel very at ease. I feel like everything is is coming into place exactly the way we thought it would. And although people want to reach out for intellectual reasons, why it's good, why it's not good, what's really happening in this kind of thing. Hey, Zenjamin. It's not Zenjamin, it's Paul Little. Hey, what a day it's been. Yeah, it's been exciting. I mean, I haven't really we've been traveling. We got back to the ranch. We've been chilling, kind of just relaxing. We just had dinner and we went through a lot of traveling in the last couple of days. But it's clear that there's a lot going on with Iran, with the reval as well. Could you pass me my phone a second? Thank you. I just want to check the how crypto's doing because it was going up before. Yeah, it does seem to be going up.
142.
Huh? It's going up. Yeah.
Tiny bit.
Okay. Oh, here. Thank you. So yeah, the crypto's going up. Behind the scenes of all this is the revaluation of the financial system, giving us back the money that has been stolen from us for a long, long time. Not just the money, but the control grids are dissolving before our eyes. We're coming to a point where I believe very soon, if somebody was to pull you over in your car, you would just say to them, I'm not really involved with this. Can you understand that? I don't support this government picayune stuff. I mean, there's no reason I didn't commit a crime. All the control grids are they're losing their authenticity. That's a word I've been searching for the last couple of days. Authenticity. They have no authenticity. The government has no authenticity. They are telling you we're in control, we're in power, we're the judges, we're the doctors, we're the lawyers, we're the ones, we're telling you what the rules are, but they don't have the authority anymore. They do not have authority. They are child trafficking, they are drug running, money trafficking, murderous bunch of thieves, and they have no authority. I think that's the word. Authenticity is maybe not the right word. They have no authority. They have no mandate. They have no substantive way to say we are in control. And that leads back to 11.3 in the Law of War Manual. When the infiltrating force, which is the deep state, no longer has control of the population, then it's time for the military to step in. At least that's my understanding of that particular postulate in the Law of War Manual. They know. And so when do they lose control of the population? When people just say, hey, man, I appreciate, you pulled me over, I was speeding, but it's none of your business. Do I have a license? It's none of your business. Do I have insurance? That's not for you. You have no authority over me because I live in the republic. I live according to the Constitution. And the Constitution does not say that you can control every aspect of our life. It's all about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I saw a post today that was saying that the whole legal system is, there's a way to just say, I'm just not in. This does not make sense. It's not legal what you're doing according to the Constitution. I don't know the details of that. If I can, I will share that post. But the bottom line is that they have lost the authority. They have lost the control grid. They no longer, even though the control grid still exists, I'm still not getting monetized on Google. I'm still not, these kinds of things. There's still there is something around taxes. I don't file taxes. I don't have any connection to it. But when I go to Home Depot and I buy something, I have to pay a certain tax. That I believe will be going away. Although there were new items that I was buying. Let's see, I bought new items. Yeah. So I guess it does make sense. The new items will still be taxed. Paul, I'm a no politics zone, and I'm in a no politics zone. Yeah, cosmic or galactic or universal law for everyone. Yeah, that's really it. And constitutional is divine law. So let's just briefly talk about Iran and what it really means. What this is a war. It's not against the Iranian people. It's not really about Iran at all. It's about the deep state that took over Iran in 1979, I believe. The majority of the Iranian people hate this Islamic regime. They hate. They've been wanting to be freed. Mm-hmm. They are dancing in the streets with joy. How all these blackpilling representatives of I don't know what, they're out there saying, you know how they spin these things. It's a spell. They put a spell on the words. But they don't have authority. They don't have authenticity. They don't have any connection to what's really going on. President Trump is not attacking Islam per se, although one could make a case that certainly this Islamic regime was a deep state operation that came into being, from my understanding, during the Second World War, when Islam became a radicalized religion. And I've been avoiding serious discussion of the religions, but I think at this point it's becoming more and more obvious to me that the religions don't really have an authentic standing either. The major religions, although the simple faith that most people have is authentic and does have authority and does have standing in a divine sense, in that you have a community of people that are enjoying the same spiritual narrative together. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, okay, I'm just going to make like a slight comment about some of the YouTubers or whatever what do you want to call them? Some of the influencers out there are saying, now it's time for Trump to get Israel. They're using Israel. This is nonsense. This is belligerence. This is information warfare against humanity. To single out a single people as being responsible for all of the woes of humanity totally misses the point. I mean, you could make that kind of case about the Vatican, and you could say all Catholics, it's a Catholic thing. And once the Catholics are put in their place, everything will. No, it's not, has nothing to do with Catholicism. It has to do with the deep state that's controlling certain aspects. But when it comes to your rank and file people that go to church and do holy things, this makes no sense. So too with Israel, and people are constantly trying to find the aha moment with Israel. You're not going to find it. Why? As a former Orthodox Yid, I can tell you there is no unified field here. You're not going to find, this is what they're really doing. You're not going to find that because they don't have that. They don't have it. And I would assume your rank and file Muslims may not have that as well. However, the whole idea that the world has to convert to Sharia law, and if you don't, it's their way or the highway, which Christianity does too. Judaism, not so much. Judaism doesn't go out and say you have to believe like us. They don't care. And this whole thing that a lot of patriots are putting out about, they call us the Goyim. Goyim means nations. Okay. Is there a large, are there people within the community who use it as a derogatory term? Yes. But why would they? Think about it. What have the Goyim done to the Yidden? And here's the bottom line to this whole thing. The bottom line to the whole thing, Jews, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, whatever, Zoroastrians, people just want to be left alone, period. Okay? If there's a people, like the Jewish people, do not proselytize. They do not care if you're Jewish or not. They're okay with that. The Rebbe was adamant about pursuing and teaching people about the 7 laws of Noach. And I know they've gotten a bad name, but the truth is, the Yidden just want to be left alone. They don't want to have their pizza parlors blown up. Okay, is that so hard for these black pilling people on X to understand? They're always finding, Trump's really going to do this with no, there's none of that. That's your own friggin' fantasy, sick, perverted fantasy that one group of people is causing your problem. The fact of the matter is, you create your own problems. Everyone does. You don't need help. So I just find it so annoying to see so much of this in the so-called Q community, or whatever you want to call it, the patriot community, that they're going to find out the aha moment that none of this. You're not going to find out any of this. You are going to find out with Epstein. Is Epstein Jewish? I don't think so. I would not call him Jewish. Jewish people have, they don't do that kind of thing. And neither do Catholics. Does the Vatican? Yeah. Is Islam a deep state religion? It seems like it. Are there a majority of Muslims who are probably peaceful, loving? I would think so. I mean, I've met a lot of nice Muslims in my day. But the idea that we must divide each other, divide and conquer, and that comes, in my opinion, from the structure of the religions themselves. That at their essence, if you analyze the religions in their dogmatic approach to things, there is an element, a strong element of Satanism in it. So does it, I mean, why? I always wondered this, even when I was religious. Why would God tell Abraham, go out and sacrifice your only child? That's not God. I'm sorry. I don't believe that's God. Well, he was teaching him a lesson. Well, he was showing him that how strong he was. None of that applies. You do not do that, in my opinion. That is not God. That's something else. Now, I'm not. I'm just saying that the whole thing, that Jesus was the son. All this stuff that he. And here's the bottom line. I am going to go a little bit off on this, apparently, on this religious thing. But here's the bottom line. Why would God ask people to sacrifice animals? I mean, it says in the Old Testament he likes the smell of the sacrifice. Why would, if indeed Jesus was his son, why would God sacrifice? It's stupid. It's stupid. And why do people think, first of all, why do they believe that they're sinners? That's, to me, ridiculous in terms of the context of the divine force that's on the planet. To say you were born in sin is obscene. So to say that he died for my sins, that's a crock of shit. I'm sorry. But there are people who believe that, and it makes them do lovely things. So I can't argue with that. That God would ask Isaac to sacrifice his only son to test him. I mean, it says in Chassidus, it wasn't to test him; it was to show Isaac how strong he was. I see. I don't. I don't. I don't know if I'm getting shadow banned on the live show. I did a short video today, which was more to the point. I'm off topic, but this is an area that needs to be addressed by humanity, so we can move forward in peace. The bottom line, people. Good people just want to be left alone to raise their families, not to be taxed to the max, not to have to spend every moment of every day of their lives trying to pay off their stupid bills that are on the backs of phony currency, like Tether, also with Bitcoin. These are fake currencies. So, but it is said by certain people that I'm reading their posts, that while this war is going on, the fiat structure, the money, the banking system is about to be destroyed, and they will not have cartels to attack you. They will not have Iranians sleeping. This is another big thing that I think is basically a lie, that there are all these Iranian sleeper cells. What do you think ICE was doing all this time? They were just, trying to pick up guys at Home Depot that were working illegally. They were after hardcore criminals and terrorists. Now, if you think about the way that Obama set up this whole society, we took airplane trips, and now they're getting looser and looser about the security thing. They're not so serious about it. They're just like, I'm like, hey man, my wife, we might have a razor with no razor in it, razor blade, and they're just kind of like, we just had to check it. We just had to make sure. It's not. They're not catching terrorists. They're taking our tax-paying money and spending it so these people can have a job. These are parasitic kinds of jobs. The whole structure that Obama built in order to make it legal for the government to get into your stuff, to fondle your clothing in the airport. This is now being turned on the enemy, and the whole thing is flipping in a magnificent way. And there's another soft point that I want to mention, and this was from a very long post about you're watching a movie. You're watching a movie does not mean I just sit back, it's a war in Iran. I'm a Q person. I'm a friend of friends. We're friends. friends. It's happening. I read all the Q posts and I'm just watching a movie. That is exactly, to me, that is repugnant. That is repulsive, a repulsive attitude, that you're just watching a movie. You are a member. You are a leading actor in the movie. You must take part in your own narration, your own life. It is up to you. It is up to each and every one of us to rise up now. This is not the time to wait to be saved. Oh, I'm watching a movie. When it's over, let me know. That's not, in my opinion, what this is about. Because most people, according to Q, will not make it out of this Holocaust. We are talking about a deep state Holocaust. We are talking about the end of World War II. Remember, after World War II, all the Nazi scientists went into corporations and drug companies in the United States, and the CIA and the FBI. They took over the intelligence communities. The same force is in power today, and that's what President Trump and the White Hats are actively removing. So no, there is no war against the Iranian people. This is a war against the deep state, whether the deep state's in the Vatican, in Washington, D.C., in the city of London. It does not matter. This is a war. This is a war to end the Holocaust, to end the depopulation of humanity, so we can go about our business and live beautiful lives in the golden age. That's what this is about. The Iranians have no connection to Islam, specifically radical Islam. And the Iraqis are trying to squirrel it in. They're trying to elect a leader who's connected to Iran. Well, President Trump and the White House are destroying that deep state force. It's the same force that runs Congress and the Senate. It's the same force running the economy. It's the same force behind Big Pharma. It's the same force running our legal systems, running our educational systems. This is the same force, whether it's radical Islam or radical educators. I mean, I dealt with them for 20 years. These people are off the wall. The people I was working with on a daily basis are sick. They're beyond help. They've been radicalized by and they've been paid off. They all get special jobs. I mean, I was getting special jobs when they thought that I was playing along with them. This is a war for the freedom of humanity. This is the end of the Holocaust that started in Lincoln's time. Probably in about 1812. That's probably when the creeps took over Tartaria and started instituting and started infiltrating and started destroying the old buildings and the old ways and putting the righteous Tartarians in sanitariums and taking the energy component out of these magnificent energy devices that the Freemasons, who can't do anything on their own but suck the blood of others, converted these churches into basically child trafficking centers to some degree, and claimed that they built them in the early 18th century, the early 1800s, when they had just supposedly, hand chisels and a couple of donkeys. It's all a lie. The whole history is a lie. The legal system is, they have no authority now. And President Trump and the White Hats are now actively taking down the deep state in Mexico with the cartels, in Colombia, in Cuba, in the Ukraine, in Iran, in Iraq, across the globe, Canada, South America. What do all these deep state people have in common? What unifies? What makes it like, well, Cuba's different from Ukraine. It's a whole different thing. No, it's not. It's one big shell game. Oh, it's over here. Oh, no, it's not under that one. No, it's not. It's not in Venezuela. No, there's no. That's not the deep state. That's you know, it, it's a shell game. They keep playing it around. So you and I think like, well, it's the Polish. It's the this. It's the that's. None of that is true. It's deep state, child trafficking, underground bases, maglev trains that travel at the speed of sound or more. It's about claiming the portals that in the old days we could transport ourselves from one part of the planet to the other in a few seconds. There's even a scientist is coming out and saying that this technology has been kept from us. The med beds, the gold and silver, Gisara. If you want to know where we're going, it hasn't changed. I said this a year ago. I said this 5 years ago. Read the points to Gisara. All debt will be forgiven. Everything will be gold and silver backed. Judges will be retrained or sent to Gitmo. The big pharma will be, and the whole the Rockefeller medical thing will be eliminated. Free energy will be prevalent. We're coming into the golden age. There's no question about it. And we're very close, and we're closer every day. We're a little bit closer. However, it is my opinion that it's not enough to see the world coming into the golden age, that this is an individual experience, an individual pilgrimage, an individual, like Q says, focus, ascension. And ascension, there's this great guy, I recommend you follow him, this Zachary Fisher. Just comes out with post after post after post that is so magnificent. They're just, they're kinds of things. I mean, I wish I had the talent to write what he writes. It's beautiful. It's stunning. But he talks about how, among other things, he talks about how people think ascension means like you're just going to start levitating and you'll go into different worlds. He defines this multi-dimensional attribute that humans have, multidimensionalism, or multi-dimensional characters that we inhabit, as you're having a thought about something that happened when you were 5 years old. You're having a feeling about something that just, something happened to you outside your window where you're driving your car and a bird went to the bathroom on your windshield. You're thinking about, I wonder how mom's doing. Then in the next instant, you're thinking about, did I drink enough water today? This is multi-dimensional traveling. This is you. The Baal Shem Tov, who was a great mystic, said that what you are thinking about, you're actually there. So multi-dimensional character does not mean, okay, I'm going to go back into my my past life as a George Washington and cross the Delaware right now. I'm going to go be an Arcturian space traveler now, and then I'm going to go undersea to hang out with my Lemurian brothers for a few. That's not what ascension. It could be to some people, but essentially, ascension just means being aware of where you're holding in the moment. Yep, my numbers are not. I'm constantly amazed. I mean, it's not conceit. It's not that I have a big ego or anything. I don't think. It's just that, like, I don't know why there are 112 people and not 112 million. I just haven't figured it out. I feel like we're dealing with the essence of the situation right now. And maybe, maybe I'm being shadow banned. I don't know. It's not me personally. I just think the message is ripe for the picking. And people are still involved with, what's really going on in Iran, and when is Trump gonna stick it to the Israelis? I mean, are you brain dead? Are you I mean, I personally would not insult someone and say they're retarded, because I think retarded people are much smarter than these intellectual giants who are trying to figure out, when are they gonna really stick it to Israel? That's not what this is about. This is about the golden age. This is about us as humanity binding together under divine law so we can live beautiful lives. We don't have to have 3 jobs to pay off your car payment. You're not going to have car payments. You're not going to have anything. You're going to have exactly what you need all the time. You're not going to spend your time thinking about how much I can make on this. That's where I finally realized with the investment thing. It's like every time I got a little bit of a pension check, I'd be like, let's go buy some silver. And now I'm like, screw that. Let's go buy a blueberry bush. Let's set up a world, a real world for ourselves, and others will come. Build it and they will come. I'm building a place. I'm building in the middle of the desert. My fruit trees are flowering now. It's the most amazing thing ever. My radish plants are coming up. My little radish seeds are surfacing. That's called, to me, that's now I'm seeing that's an investment. That's a real investment. I mean, the soil gets richer every time you grow something, and you mulch back. Part of it goes back into the soil. Now we want to invest because the rules of the road in this sick, bizarro world are, if you don't have money, you don't have anything. And there's a reason, it's understandable that people would want to invest, and so they can become rich later. But the truth of the matter is, in my way of understanding this whole situation, we're all going to be rich. What does being rich really mean? It means you don't have to think about money. If you really want something, if you think it's important to you, you just go buy it. We basically live that way now. We don't, I don't. I mean, Daniela says she wants a car, whatever. I mean, but basically, what do I want? A few pieces of plywood. I want now. I'm actively lusting after citrus trees. I can't find citrus trees locally, so I'm going to have to go to Phoenix maybe. I don't find them online so much, and I really would like to have heirloom citrus trees if I could. Is this coming out of nowhere? No, because I realized, like, 40 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, I was in Phoenix with a family, and the eldest member of the family was named Irving. And Irv and I were in Phoenix together, and we were like, holy shit, man, look at that tree. It's full of grapefruits. And Irving and I would stuff our little plastic bags with all these citrus things. So this is an idea. This is a current in my life stream that is now coming full circle. And now it's going to be like, well, wait a minute. I could have my own citrus trees, and I could share with others. They could come up with plastic bags and stick some grapefruits in their plastic bags. Well, it wouldn't be plastic, because we don't like plastic. We don't. My beloved is very against plastics and everything. She won't let me touch a plastic, and that's because she's amazing. It takes some getting used to. But the Iranian war is not a war against Iranians. It's not a war for Israel or against Israel. I mean, if you even think that, there are all these people. I don't. I can't go. I was in the, the Orthodox community for 25 years, they're not smart enough to be like evil the way, you're not talking about, they're just simple people of faith by and large. There are some people who are making money, but they're not. It's this way of that people want to see evil. If you want to see evil, look at Epstein, look at the government, look at the Vatican, look at the legal system, look at the food production, look at big pharma. You don't have to go and blame a country. These countries were made up by this UN force. I just saw a thing with David Lester Straight put out a thing that he was building buildings or rooms for police forces. They would build two rooms. He said this. One was for their UN uniforms, and one was for their regular police uniforms. And they would have both. They would have two rooms. These are evil. The UN, the WEF, the World Health Organization, all these organizations, sick perverts that traffic, the Red Cross, UNICEF, that traffic children, and make sure that the doctors never find a cure for anything. And if they find a cure, they kill the person who finds the cure. That's evil. You want to look for evil, you don't have to work so hard to try to find it in Israel, in Catholics, in Islam even. I mean, there is a level. I think any religion. I mean, President Trump says it. Any religion who delights in killing others, that's not religion. That's not holy. The idea of sacrifices for God, I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I mean, I studied Leviticus. Leviticus is the third book in the Old Testament, and they tell you how to do sacrifices, how to stir the blood from the sacrificial offerings. There's in my opinion, this is Satanism. I know that goes against, I'm trashing my own peeps, but come on, that he gave his life for my sins. Bullshit. That's this is a made up thing from that they made up at the Council of Nicaea in order to pervert probably a very nice religion. Christianity probably started out like really kumbaya, man. It's like we just want to love each other. We just want to, and Judaism as well. And then they codified it, and Islam. I don't know enough about Islam to really talk about. All I know at this point is that the Iranians are delighted to be rid of these tyrannical Sharia law fanatics. What they're going to do in Texas, I don't know. All these mosques popping up, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, at least like the Jewish structures that pop up, they don't pop up with such fervor, and they don't start getting on microphones or trying to convert people. But if you have an offensive people that are going against the constitutional law, the divine law, by saying that this is their law is more divine than yours, and their law involves cutting off hands and mutilating little girls, mutilating their sexual organs. I mean, I'm sorry. That does not cut it as divine, any kind of divine law. That's just satanic. So we are at a war. We are coming to the end of the Holocaust, the literal, actual Holocaust that started in 1812, in my opinion, when this tyrannical, sick, hybrid force. These are not human beings. Human beings do not eat children alive. They do not do that. That is not a human being kind of thing to do. These hybrid forces, these satanic beings do. And we are finally realizing that they've infiltrated our world, and they presented themselves as very handsome, beautiful politicians and actors and actresses and scientists and all this other stuff. These are just hybrid fakers, shapeshifters. that we are finally waking up to understand that they are not human, and that they are terrorizing and destroying our world. And we're putting an end to it. President Trump and the White House are helping us, but this is a thing that has to be addressed and agreed upon by all of us. We all have to be thinking about, like, wow, man, this is it. This is happening. Finally, the Holocaust is going to be over. Finally, the Holocaust is going to be over. Now, there are all people, oh, how can you call it the Holocaust? Let me tell you, man, I can tell you how they call it. You submit to a doctor who vaccinates you to death. That's called a Holocaust. That you didn't have SS people running around machine guns cutting down people in the street. It's still a Holocaust. It's still about depopulation. You have 8 million kids go missing a year. That's called a Holocaust. 8 million children just vanish. They go underground. They become food. We are in a farm. We are farm animals. But we are waking up. And this is all happening in real time, and it's all beautiful, and nothing can stop what's coming, and you should be so proud of yourself. But this, do not, in my opinion, it is not the correct way to say, I'm watching a movie, tell me when it's over, hand me the popcorn. This is about you and I figuring out how to live in a divine way. We don't know. We've never really had the opportunity, but we are now. The energy on the planet has already shifted, in my opinion. I mean, that's what I'm feeling. I'm just, well, I'm blissed out just to be home. I don't like to travel, but even when I was traveling, a lot of the time I was just kind of like, sort of like blissed out. I'm just like, everything is, it's all happening. There's the problems are being solved. It's all coming to light. We can all see the enemy. The enemy is not the Iranians. It's not the Chinese. It's not the Russians. It's not the Cubans. It's the deep state hybrid parasites that are feeding on your fear. It's that simple. When we complicate it by trying to figure out what's really happening today, what's really going on, we lose it completely. That's what the enemy wants. Let them figure it out. Let them be confused. Let them live in fear. Let them think that, oh no, there are all these sleeper cells that are going to like blow themselves up the next time I go to the store. I'm not going to the store now. I don't have an ammo vest. I don't have a. No, this, I don't see this. We need to just enjoy being. We are Isbies. We are immortal. They can't kill us. They can't kill us. We come back. You want to destroy my life? You want to shoot me? Whatever, God forbid. I'll come back. I'll come back and we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it in another lifetime if that's what you want. I'd rather just get it done now. Just leave me alone. Just walk on. Just move on. And let people be people. There's plenty of land. There's plenty of resource. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of air if they're not poisoning it. There's plenty of water if they're not poisoning it. There's plenty of food if they're not poisoning it. Let me get to a point where at least I recognize the difference between real food and something designed to kill me, to keep me sick. Brian Best, man. Great coffee. Highly recommend it. Spiritual Bean Coffee. You can go on his website if you happen to be lucky enough to be in Prescott, which I was told by, be careful. I don't do well in Prescott. I knew it was not my town when that was my first town I visited in Arizona. It's just not, it's not my place. There are too many rules and regulations. There are too many petty bureaucrats running around thinking that they can think. maybe too many vaccination, maybe too many people have been vaccinated there. I don't know what it is. I mean, it seems like a nice place. There's probably a really nice side to it, but there are other places I'd rather hang. Yeah, I'm sorry. Am I off? Am I off on in my own world? Hey, Guru. Hey, um, that's coming from Jimmy Johns. Hey, cool man. Good to see you. Thank you, Wade. How you been? Yeah, I'm sovereign. That's the bottom line, man. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm sovereign, baby. I'm sovereign. You got a problem with my driving? I'm sorry, man. You get over it because I'm sovereign. You got no authority to tell me what to do when your peeps are stealing children with the child protection services, are stealing money with your fake fiat money, are putting my peeps into the hospital. I can't tell you how many people I see in my travels that are walking on canes, especially veterans. You vaxxed up the veterans. Why would you do that? You have no authority over me. You're a killer. You're a criminal. Don't tell me I was speeding. That's none of your fucking business. You got your child trafficking. That's a defiance of divine law. You have no authority over me. You can't. It's over. It's over. That's what's going on right now. It is over. The Iranian look. Hillary? What did Hillary do with the uranium? Gave it to the Iranians. What? Not the Iranians. To the deep state. What did Obama do with those pallets of cash? Gave it to the deep state in Iran, the deep state players, the deep state in the Ukraine, child trafficking, tunnels underground. There are tons of tunnels underground in Iran. That's really what they're going in for. It's not the Iranian people. The Iranian people are thanking Trump, they're just so happy that they're being liberated right now. I don't know why I don't have, and they are, there is some kind of, the deep state is definitely silencing those of us who are coming out with what's really going on. They don't want the message to get out. So, that they can't kill an idea. You cannot kill an idea. And eventually, little by little, it's coming out. I was shocked. I had, how many hits did we get on that video today? 200? Over 200,000 hits. I still am not monetized. I have to get 5 million hits within a 3-month period to get monetized. They still don't, I mean, these people are insane. They think that by controlling by making it impossible for you to, or difficult for you to make a living, you're going to quit. And it's not about the money. It's about the ideas. And I'm not alone. There are thousands, hundreds, tens of thousands of digital warriors out there that they don't care if they're monetized or not. I mean, I wish I was monetized. It would just be easier, but things are easy anyway. God gives me what I need. I don't have to beg the deep state to finance me. When I needed plywood, I just walked into Home Depot. I saw a bunch of slightly damaged plywood. I said, "Hey, man, I'll buy it for 70% off if you sell it to me." And they're like, "Yeah, sure, take it." I mean, anyway, yeah. But I do want to mention I'm sovereign, baby, man. Paul Little, I love that. I had an English teacher back in the day, Miss Little, and she was really tall. She was I really liked her. She was really good to me and nice to me. So I don't know if you're related to her, but her name was Jean Little. What a beautiful soul. I don't know if she was liberal or, in those days, it didn't really matter, but she would encourage us to be creative. And probably that's why I'm still loving having a creative outlet. Nothing is for naught. I was telling Daniela today, I'm writing these things on X. I'm writing and doing little videos about the writing, but the writing comes out without any effort at all. I could sit there and the reason why it does, I was explaining to Danielle, is because I spent at least 5 years, probably more like 10 years, thinking that I was going to grow up and be a writer, thinking that was the only way I could express myself in this world. So I edited and edited and edited. I used words and I threw out words and I crossed out words and I tried other words and I played and I played and I played. And now it just, I don't have to do any of that. I did it already. Kind of like music. I practice and I practice and practice. I don't really have to practice so much anymore. I mean, I do. That's why I haven't written my last song yet. My next song. I'm hoping I'll get some time. We've been working on some projects, a little behind the scene project. I'll let you guys know when it's a little more evolved. But we've been working on some things. Yeah, it's a beautiful. This is an amazing experience. But this President Trump has taken down the deep state, and it has nothing to do with I'm sorry, but these sickos who think that they're about Israel. It's just like, just give it up. Just work on yourself. Don't blame other people or other peoples or other countries or other religions on your problems. Just deal with yourself. That's my advice. The Yidden just want to be left alone. They like what they do. They have a very nice prayer schedule. They all talk about God all the time. They talk about Torah. They give charity to each other. They live a very nice life. They just want to be able to go to the pizza place and not get blown up. And by the way, and here's where people get it wrong. It wasn't radical Islam per se. I mean, it is radical Islam, but it's the deep state that blew them up. It's the deep state that made it so that I can't just get on an airplane. I have to go through this stupid inspection thing where I hold my hands up and they radiate me and all this other nonsense. And I have to put my bags on a conveyor belt and they're going to X-ray. This is all deep state. It's not. I was talking to an elderly woman, probably my age, and I was saying, you really do not look like a terrorist. I can't believe that anybody's going to go through your luggage, go through your carry-ons thinking like Granny's she's going to blow up the plane. I mean, I'm like, this is sick. This is insane. And they used the excuse. They blew up the Twin Towers. It wasn't a terrorist attack. It was a deep state attack. All these attacks, the Olympics, everything comes from the deep state criminal organization, transnational. It has no connection to any country. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not the Cubans. It's the deep state. It's the hybrids. It's the parasites that eat live children and live people. That's their preferred. This is not like some other country that does this. This is a different race, a different set of beings, hybrids. They mixed with our DNA. They used our DNA to perpetuate their own race because maybe they were dying or maybe they were losing it. So they needed our DNA, and they like like Zachariah Sitchin. If you ever read, I think I'm pronounced Sitchin or Sitch, whatever. What talked about the fallen angels in the Old Testament. Who were these dudes? Elohim. I think this is the same dudes that would tell tell Abraham, man, go take Isaac and go and shecht him and just, like a sheep, just sacrifice him. That's not normal. That's not godly. That's not divine. Is it heresy for me to go against the Old Testament? Absolutely. In my faith, that's why I don't hang out there anymore. I love those people. I love my community there. Love. But I'm not, we have to grow up. We have to grow up and realize that we are the creators. We are the force, collective consciousness. Now, when you get a bunch of people that are all praying the same way, that there's a tremendous power in that. But we don't need to we don't need that. Whatever. Anyway, Mommy Wolverine's here. That's cool. I'm sovereign, baby. I love that. That's the bottom line. I'm not about trafficking kids, man. You are. You work for a government that traffics children, and you're going to give me a parking ticket or a traffic ticket? Like I violated something? You violated something. You get paid by these creeps. These creeps eat our children. You're going to give me a speeding ticket? Are you kidding me? Go back to your boss and say, why are you eating children? Why is your boss eating children? Why are you accepting pay from people who eat children? You have no authority to give me a ticket, to look for my registration. I am, according to the Constitution, I can travel where I want. I don't need a license. I don't need a license to cut hair or go fishing or any of that bullshit. I'm sovereign, baby. Like Paul Little says, man, I'm sovereign, baby. I don't need no stinking badge. I don't need your stinking badges. I don't need it. You need it. You got to tell me where the money went that I paid for 20 years tax-paying teacher. Where did it go? When I refused to get vaxxed, I was just out. Thank God they still give me my pension. But in the beginning, they were like, well, we don't know who you are. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You're not on our files. You were just erased. I'm like, no. That can't be. I worked for 20 years. You can't just say that I didn't exist. And I had to scream and yell for like a year to get my pension. Now, I don't know if I'd done it a different way. Maybe it would have been easier, but I didn't want to formally retire because I didn't want to retire. I didn't retire for 2 years after I was kicked out of the Department of Education because I didn't want to. They said, your lawsuit wouldn't be, but the lawsuit never happened anyway because they control the legal system. There's no justice here. You think you're going to go to court and get justice? I would just say, don't go to court. Don't even talk to them. This guy that pulled me over, he says, if you don't get a registration, you're going to jail. I'm like, I don't know. What authority do you have? I didn't say it at the time, but I was just like, I don't accept your court. I'm not going to your court. I don't pay your taxes. I don't go to your court. I don't want anything to do with you guys. I don't need a building permit for my house. I don't need to get my well licensed. Certainly don't need my septic tank inspected by a bunch of nerds. The way Brian in Prescott, man, they gave him like it was 2 years he was waiting to get it open up his little coffee shop. What is he doing? Is he trafficking children? No. What was his crime? Well, your sink isn't hooked up, with a 2-valve trap, and we can't open. You can't open up. That bullshit. That's just it. That's a criminal operation. That's called what do you call it when you hold somebody up? You say, if you protection services. You want to open up. You got to pay me. You got to pay the man. Well, who are you? What do you actually produce? Nothing. I just here to enforce the law. Whose law? The Satan's law. I'm here to enforce Satan's law, and I get paid for it, and I can't mess up because I won't get promoted. It's all going down, man. All these jobs, all these people. According to Jassara law, 10% of the government will still be operating, and most of it will be local. You won't have this flatulent Heisenberg blimp of a government. Not to insult blimps. Apparently, they were very much a part of the Tartarian world, which they erased. So yeah, let me just mention again, we are operating under divine law. We want to work under the Constitution. Where did my thing go? Let's see if I can find it. All right, I'm getting better at this. Okay, so let's. All right, Paul. I totally agree with you, man. It's a beautiful thought. Let's now go to save show. Let's see if it. No, that's the wrong one. That's not the one I wanted. Although I'll get to that in a minute. But let's just okay. So if you want to operate under divine law, I encourage you to join the republicforusa.org. There's like 5 lines up in the corner. You press that, and then a whole thing where you join. All you have to do is join and volunteer, man. Whatever they need. All we need is 30,000 people per state, all the 8 offices filled. I'm involved with my local Mojave County republic. Once you establish a republic in your county, you free everybody in it, because they can operate under the republic instead of under the satanic child trafficking Illuminati inspired parasites. There's a choice, and as soon as there is a republic, we haven't officially declared our declared ourselves to the world yet, but we're working on it. As soon as we declare it, everyone in Mojave County is free. And by the way, if you're in Mojave County, please join us and please come to our meetings, and we're going to rock the world. This is it. It's Trump is dismantling the deep state. He's dismantling the cartels in Mexico. He's dismantling the deep state in Iran. At the same time, the economic system is being rewritten, recreated. It will be running on blockchain, in my opinion, with XRP, XLM, all these things. We will no longer have these banksters, these thugs, who even Epstein was even behind Bitcoin. These are parasites. These are child trafficking. These are murderers. These people murder children and have sex with them. I mean, you don't, humans don't do that. I'm sorry, but if you're a human doing that, I just, it's hard for me to understand. Anyway, so yeah, join the Republic for org. Let me just let me also, okay, I can put that down, right? So let me also remind peeps that health is only a phone call away. Good health. Call Dr. Stacy, or you could join. This is my Daniela's thing. I'm going to put the other one on just because it's simpler to remember. But I'm really thankful that people have supported Daniela this way, because she now makes a living, and it is. I'm so happy to, if I do nothing else in life, man, it's just like, yeah, here's my thing that, yeah, LifeWave, you can join under, just click on and get these patches. It is, just go to join, not shop, and get like what do you call that? A core pack or more. Buy a bunch of clones, try it out. I'm going to show you a short clip from David Schmidt, the founder of LifeWave, but it's all about good health. I showed you all those clips of that my friend from Arizona, her blood before and after. She was taking patching for 2 weeks, and her blood just totally cleared up. She was just saying it's a miracle. So these patches are not nothing. So I'm just going to do a short clip. But please, we thank you, and we invite you to join. Call Dr. Stacy, or just sign up yourself. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so let's listen to David Schmidt for a minute. Answer a question about LifeWave. Ah, I see. I can't do that. Okay, so let me try it a different way.
to hear from you. Why is it that we put the X39 on and we wear it for 12 hours? Why do we take it off after 12 hours?
Yeah, it's actually a fantastic question. And this is based on a phenomena called attenuation. And so in phototherapy, when you're stimulating the skin with light, if you continue to stimulate the skin all the time, the body eventually stops responding. A way that most people would relate to this is, let's say that you drink coffee, right? Which I don't really recommend people drink a lot of coffee. But let's say you have some caffeine and you get wired from it, and then you drink another cup and you get a little bit of an effect. Maybe you drink another cup and you're drinking coffee every day, and then all of a sudden it's not waking you up anymore. The body accommodates or adjusts to this. And we see the same phenomena in light therapy, that if you continue stimulating the body, it eventually stops responding. So what we found as a practical matter is that if people wore the patches for 12 hours and then removed them and then applied them the next day, they would continue responding to the patches. So the other reason to it is that the patches work by being activated by body heat. And so the patches are not like a Band-Aid. They don't breathe, they trap heat. And so if you leave them on for more than 12 hours, they can cause a mild irritation of the skin after, let's say, more than 18 hours. So it's nothing, of course, serious, but that's another reason why we don't want people wearing them, 24 hours a day.
So wear it for 12 hours, take it off, throw it away. As I like to say, rest and rejuvenate for 12 hours, and then put a fresh patch on. Me, I keep my patches right next to my toothbrush. So when I brush my teeth in the morning, I put it on. And then at night when I brush my teeth, I take it right back off. So for me, that's the easiest way to remember.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so that's some good information about the LifeWave patches. Anyway, like I said, I invite you guys to share with us, to share good health. We were with Daniela's mom, and she's becoming more open to the idea. It's not an easy thing because we're so used to taking pills, and the pills deal with symptoms, not causes. This deals with cause. If you could put X39, X49, glutathione, you're getting to these like kind of root basic things that will help your health. And if you think about it, if you realize that the deep state is trying to kill you and they want to put you on a therapeutic pathway so that you'll die in 15 years instead of 25 years, this goes against. This is not FDA approved or any of that shit. This is an innovation that is shared with the world. David Schmidt was hired by the Navy SEALs to design something that would improve the quality of their life. And he designed the energy patch. After that, he designed X39, which stimulates stem cell production. Stem cells is a big deal. There's a glutathione patch. If you have eye issues, the carnosine patch is very effective. SP6, if you have endocrine issues, if you have like diabetes. And Eon, which deals with inflammation, both mental and spiritual and physical inflammation. Eon is just like the happy patch. It just, if you experience pain, Eon patch is very effective. But yeah, so that's a little rundown on X, and we thank all the people who have joined us in this cause. But we want people to be healthy. We want people to be sovereign. We want people to be wealthy. We want people to be able to live their dreams. We're not here to get something off you. We don't, and by the way, let me just remind you in terms of investing, I will never ever reach out to you with some kind of crypto thing. Those are scammers. Coinbase will never send you an email saying your thing has been breached. Give me your numbers. These are scammers. Telegram is where I got scammed. So be careful on Telegram. Be careful on all these platforms. Do not give your information to anyone. Okay. I haven't talked about investing lately. I think XRP is and the ISO 222 coins. Eventually, it's in March. Isn't it March already?
The last day of February.
Oh, it's the last day of February. Oh, right. Okay. So March 1st, something could happen. I don't know, but it might not. Does that mean you should sell your XRP, your XLM, your HBAR? In my opinion, no. I've been holding these things forever. Have they made me rich? Yeah. I mean, I haven't lost money on it. I've made quite a bit of increase on the original investment, but I'm hoping to be a multimillionaire. I'm hoping to never, ever think about money. I just be like, Daniela, do we need, today we bought 12 sacks, 12 3-liter bags of organic mulch, $10 a bag. I'm like, I've been buying like 4 bags at a time. I just said, just give me 12 bags. I got my pension check. I want 12 bags because my garden is the garden is the future. The garden it's godly. I threw some seeds in the ground, man. I got a bunch of radishes now growing. I put them in before a big rain. And things in the desert right now, the whole desert is being transformed, in my opinion. There's green everywhere. The chemtrails hopefully will go away soon, and we'll be able to live with divine law. Anyway, so thank you all for being here. Thanks for coming. I got 103. It's down now. I don't know why. Why would this message be? It's because people, maybe they don't have time. People don't have time, but it's just weird to me that, like my sister and brother-in-law, they said, do you know this Joe Rogan? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, is he putting out information that's so, it's a million times greater than my information. It's spot on. It's just like clear, crystal clear. It's like, I don't get it, but that's just the way the world is. I think you guys are just early. And I think I look back to what Casper said from Casper and Gary from Quantum. Casper?
Yeah.
Casper and Gary from Quantum Bridge. They said, Ellie, he says, you got all these videos out there. So when people are ready, you won't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already done. The work is done. It's not a bad thing. So I'm not worried. Anyway, yeah, I did have a very successful video this morning. Got like 200,000 hits, which is pretty cool. But the world is ready, man. The world is happening. Do not be afraid of the Iranian thing. This is only good. And all this fear from even, mainstream patriot channels, all the Iranians, you think ICE was just like, they were just eating fast food and drinking coffee out there on the beat. They were taking care of these hardcore tyranny, these murderous terrorist gangs, in my opinion. And I don't think we should live in fear at all. I don't think you should be afraid of everything. Listen, if your time is up, man, I mean, what are you going to do? Yo, man, I mean, God, are you kidding me? I can't go now. It's like, you'll go and you'll come back some other way. You'll be reborn. And maybe you'll retain the knowledge this time. There's a big thing about, don't go for the light after you die. Don't fall for that trap. Apparently this is some kind of a trap. I don't know. Who the hell knows? But the point is that this is the greatest time to be alive. Things are happening. I didn't even go to the thought stream. I apologize. Maybe that's why. Maybe if I go to the thought stream more, people would be more. But I'm just giving you what I've accumulated in my research for today, what Danielle and I have accumulated. And do we need to go to thought stream? I don't think so. Do I need to get a millions hits here to feel like a human being? No, it's okay. 102, man, fine. It'll come in, it'll be a couple thousand, whatever. It's like people are busy. People have lives, but you guys are amazing. That you come back and hang out. And I'm sorry I wasn't more responsive. I didn't really look at the posts so much. There are a lot of posts. You didn't get notifications. Yeah. Well, that's probably why. Somebody's shadow banning me, especially sacrificing your only son. Yeah. I mean, that's both Judaism and Christianity. God sacrificing his son, Abraham sacrificed his son. That's bullshit. That's just God, in my opinion, God does not ask people to do stuff like that. Why? That's something else. Maybe that's these fallen angels that got into our DNA, that started screwing our women and having babies. I don't know. They're demons. It's not. And then CERN and the place in Wisconsin, all these child trafficking services, everything. You going to give me a parking ticket? I mean, what about your mayor? What is he really doing? How did he make $5 million? Right? They don't have authority anymore. They don't have authority over us. We're sovereign, baby. I like that, Paul. All right. Anyway, so yeah, let me do a tune. Let me get rid of this for now. But yeah, we thank you all for for trying the LifeWave product and believing us, and we think it's the best. We love our LifeWave. So it's a new week. It's a new week. No, today's Saturday. It's a new week starting Monday, but everything is happening already, man. This war in Iran is going to clean up some bad dudes. The Iranian people are dancing in the street. It's a war against the deep state. This is the end of World War II. Finally, J. Edgar Hoover and his criminal organization is coming. The Holocaust is coming to an end. Thank God. They're not going to be killing anybody with bad medicines or bad food or bad air, or bad anything. We are now coming into our own. We're becoming sovereign, and nothing can stop what's coming. So let's just play a tune, and I have to do it a different way, right? Okay.
Living in the city, I was paying down my bills. One flat tire and the whole thing went to hell. Credit cards for groceries, I'm deep in debt again. It's time to split this scene, walk with you, my friend. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land. Stopped paying taxes, your insurance I don't need. The medicines are killing us, hospitals grow like weeds. Move into paradise, I don't need no gassy cars. Fake news, endless wars, a satanic legal bar. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. friends all tell me I lost control. Left my wife and job just to run down rabbit holes. But I can tell you one thing about my fall. Where we go one, we go all. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land.
You're right. It is really late on the East Coast. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to work on myself. I'm trying to get it earlier, but it just seems every time, I'm like, okay, it's 6 o'clock. Let's get ready. And it just seems like, oh, we haven't had dinner yet. It's like, but yeah, I'm working on it. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, have a great night. We got this. May the force be with you. May you realize you are the force. You don't have to sacrifice anything. There's no sacrifice. In my opinion, that whole idea that you have to sacrifice something, that you're a sinner, that's fake news. Like with all the other stuff, with the fake history, with the fake medicine, with the fake education, you just have to be you. It's so easy. It's hard, right? Just to be yourself and just honor your own passions, your own desires, your own information. All right. So yeah, later, creators. So may source be with you. May you realize that you are source itself. You create what your thoughts will coalesce into reality. You're not, and you don't have to you're not watching the movie. You are creating the movie. So let's get out there with a big smile on our face and rock the world.